He's a streak, baby. Let's talk about it all today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for your first deposit match up to $100. And the Detroit Tigers, happy Wednesday, happy halfway point in the week. Vibes are high. What a absolutely fantastic comeback win for your Detroit Tigers, who are now 14-10 on the season. They've won 3 straight. That is called a winning streak. Maybe some of you, myself included, forgot what that feels like, but that is a thing that teams are allowed to do multiple times in a season, even, which now the Tigers obviously have. That is also 4 wins in the Tigers' last 5 games. They are playing really good baseball. Not perfect baseball, but really good baseball. And on top of all of that, you go into today, on Wednesday, with a chance to sweep the Rays on the road. And we will gladly take that. This was a 4-2 victory in Tropicana in what is, well, we don't have to talk about kick the Rays while they're down, talk about that ballpark, but a 4-2 victory, and the Tigers been playing some good ball in that ballpark. So I'm a fan of it for today. All right. Let's talk about what went right in this ball game, and we are going to look no further than Kenta Maeda to start this one off. 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. I mean, my goodness, what a beautiful sight. What an absolutely beautiful outing that was. The velocity was way up. The fastball was easily the best we have seen in a Tigers uniform. The slider was easily the best we have seen so far from him in a Tigers uniform. The pitch mix was absolutely fantastic. When he is at his best, that is a big reason as to why. He also, one of the things that I really appreciate about Maeda when, in his Twins and Dodger days where, like this is the sweeper and slider mix, right? He has the slider that's a little more firm and a little tighter, and then he has the sweeper, which is a little bit more of a loopier type of pitch, and he has no fear with either of them when he's at his best. And this was a perfect example of that, pounding the slider low and away to righties, right glove side. And the fun part was he was throwing it to lefties too. It was just that glove side low in the zone constantly, and he was getting swings and misses on it for righties and lefties. It's just, it was beautiful. That is how Kenta Maeda looks when he is on. That outing is exactly how he looks. I think my favorite part, and the broadcast did a great job. Benetti is just such a great addition, and Simo obviously playing the game for as long as he did. When they talk and bring in Petrie, right, who obviously has great insight. Like there's so much knowledge in our booth. And they brought it up. I know Evan Petzold of the Freep brought it up as well. But, he was throwing sinkers a lot in this outing. And he was throwing, I don't want to make it sound like he threw like 80% sinkers, but he was throwing them more than we're used to. He threw a decent amount of sinkers to righties specifically. And he was asked about it after the game and just talked about, like he wanted to make his presence felt inside to righties. And what better way than throwing a variation of a fastball that also moves in toward the hands as it's coming to you when it's already on, again, the inner half of the plate on top of that. So he paired that with that slider low and away to righties, and it was a masterclass. And there was obviously some pitches that still, got away from him and whatnot. It wasn't the most efficient outing on the planet, but Like he's never going to be. That's not the type of pitcher that he is. Kenta Maeda is not I'm gonna go 7, 8 innings consistently. He's gonna go 5 or 6. And if he can only give up, 2 or less runs in that's gonna be a successful day at the office for him. And obviously this was a shutout. Now the defense did not help him either. This was we'll talk about that later on in the show when we talk about what went wrong. The defense, while Maeda was on the mound, was dreadful, and then it got better as the outing went along, unfortunately. But it was really rough to start the game, so that obviously hurt his efficiency and his ability to go deep in this one as well. But yeah, I thought he did everything really well. The sequencing of fastballs low and splitters is something we've talked about for years on this show, and it's so beautiful to watch in action. Like there's nothing more aesthetically pleasing than watching somebody take a fastball at the knees because they think it's the splitter, and then go fishing on the splitter because they're sitting fastball. Like that tunneling of just fastball at your kneecaps, splitter down in the zone, or down at your ankles, split and back and forth, and just completely have the hitter guessing. He did that a few times through a few really, really good fastballs at the knees. Again, the fastball was the biggest thing with this outing. That, and I guess the slider too, but everything. The velocity was up across the board. First pitch of the game was almost 91 miles an hour, and that held pretty much throughout the entirety. I thought he was great, and I thought that the stuff looked really sharp. This is what Kenta Maeda should look like on a start-to-start basis. And again, like he got swings and misses when he needed. He got soft contact when he needed. He was stellar and played the situations really, really well. There was that one situation he had man on third, less than 2 outs, got a big strikeout, then got the out. Like he knows situations so well. Like I said, never going to be really efficient, but when he can be effective though, and clearly this was an outing where he was. Hopefully, the slow April is behind us. You're right. The patented Kenta Maeda slow April that has been a thing his entire career. And we talked about that after his last outing. I know patience was growing thin with his performance so far this year, and he had an ERA over 7. As I said then, and I'll say it again, it was very justified for the fan base to be frustrated. But he always has terrible Aprils, like pretty much like every single season. So hopefully, in a dome, no elements to deal with. That certainly helped as well, I'm sure. But hopefully we can get to past the slow start that he usually has to start off the season. The other biggest thing, the other player, probably even more so than Maeda, the player who was absolutely the star of this game, and obviously someone who is on the side of things that went right, was Riley Greene. Was absolutely fantastic. And we will talk about him right after this. Got to talk to y'all today about our friends over at Monopoly Go. I've been told that I am a competitive person by some, and yeah, I do. I openly admit it, but that competitive side is a huge fan of Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. And the best part is honestly messing with your friends. To be completely real, I can charge them rent on my iconic properties, just like in classic Monopoly, but now I can also heist their vaults of riches all for myself. And the new leaderboards show me the biggest Monopoly tycoons, who they are, and how much longer I have to go and how much more I have to play to reach them. It's also not just my competitive side that loves it. It is just all around an awesome game, and it's really fun to play, like I said, with your friends. So get in on all the action and join your friends today by downloading Monopoly Go for free in the App Store or Google Play. Also got to tell you all about our friends over at Prize Picks. Spring training is a thing of the past, as we are well aware, and baseball season is officially underway, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players to the diamond in your Prize Picks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entries today. So get in on all the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money. Playoff action, like I said, hockey, basketball, It is a really fun time of year to be a sports fan, and you can get in on all the action even more with Prize Picks. Really fun NBA postseason so far. Obviously, fantastic games. That Knicks game against the Sixers was one of the basketball games of all time. I'll put it that way. I feel sorry for Philly fans there, but also not really. But also, am I really rooting for the Knicks? A lot of give and take in that game, but a fantastic finish, no less. A lot of great hockey as well. No better time, like I said, to get in on all of the action here. So download the app and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's all one word for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2 of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always, making us your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in. Every day we will be back tomorrow, recapping the series finale against an old friend and the Tampa Bay Rays. Also, be sure to check out Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 streaming channel program for you, bringing you every biggest story in sports from all of our great hosts here at Locked On. You can stream it 24/7 on YouTube for free or for free in the Amazon Fire TV channels app. The Detroit Tigers won another ball game 4-2 against, I almost said at the hands of, but they won. So against the Tampa Bay Rays, they're now 14-10 on the season. Riley Greene is absolutely unbelievable. That was a remarkable performance by him, a 2-for-3 with 2 home runs and yet another walk. His season stats, his average is now up to 247. That was the big complaint about him early in the season, was it was a lot of walks and homers, not a lot of hits. The average is almost back up to 250, given it was around 200 for a lot of the first couple of weeks of the season. He's seeing the ball really well. A 908 OPS, and my favorite, a 402 on base percentage. Riley Greene leads baseball in walks. First, you know who he's ahead of? Juan Soto. Correct. Now, I'm not expecting Riley Greene to lead the league in walk percentage or have a walk rate higher than Juan Soto's by the end of the season, but this is clearly a change in approach. And he talked about it post-game. Johnny Kane, who does a fantastic job, obviously, at Bally, grabbed him as he was coming off the field and gave him a post-game kind of media availability there. And he talked about, like the mindset of not chasing as many pitches and drawing a lot more walks. And the biggest thing, and we've talked about this ad nauseum the last couple of weeks on this show, is walks are great because they force a pitcher to throw the ball over the heart of the plate at some point. And the hitters that are the best hitters on the planet have the ability to not chase, force those walks, and then actually do damage on the pitches that are over the heart of the plate when they are like, okay, well, I have to be in the zone on this pitch. You are ready to grip it and rip it. And that is exactly what we saw in this ball game from Riley Greene. His approach was beautiful. It was, dare I say, perfect. And this is one ball game, right? I'm not even saying Greene's going to have an OPS like over 900 over the course of the season, but just seeing the approach that he has had the last few games, and specifically in this game, was absolutely fantastic. This was also a home run off of a lefty. That's only the second time in his entire career he has hit a home run off of a left-handed pitcher. And the first time happened a couple weeks ago. He went into this season with 0 homers off of lefties. He now has 2 homers off of lefties on the season. Obviously, he had 2 homers tonight, and not both of them were off lefties. He did 1-1. Can't get much better than that. So he's got 5 homers on the season. I believe that ties the team high with Mark Canha, who obviously also homered in this ball game. And the fact that he has 3 homers off righties and 2 off lefties, and we're not even through April yet, Riley Greene is unbelievable. And we're seeing it. And that's just fun. Because we were talking about it for so long. We got to move on. But like it's just great. It's really great. Defense at the end of the game, not the beginning, at the end of the game. was fantastic. Buddy Kennedy with an unbelievable barehanded play, had a couple of nice plays there in his short time on the field. He has versatility, like positional versatility. He's an athlete. He's really fast. We haven't really seen it yet because we haven't got the opportunity to. He's just been hitting, homers and drawing walks and playing defense, but he can play all over the field. And I think I think the organization likes him, and you're starting to see why. So hopefully he can keep up that. Took a fastball right down the middle. Again, he has a really patient approach at the plate as well. So something to watch there for sure. Zach McKinstry also had a great play at third base in this ball game as well toward the end of the game when Faedo, I believe, was still on the mound. So good defense at the end of the game, not at the beginning. We'll talk about that later. Winfield Perez, I think that he looks unbelievably just like confident and comfortable and relaxed in the batter's box right now. And that is awesome. He's hitting 304 with an 882 OPS. He went 1 for 3 with a big walk in this ball game. Look, we'll have this conversation a little bit at the very end of the show too. And then obviously when Andy Ibanez does come back, which we'll talk about, there's going to have to be a decision on who to send down. And Buddy Kennedy is going to be an easy option because he's the most recent one to come up here. But Zach McKinstry's out of options. And again, everyone knows you can just throw a curveball that bounces on home plate and he's going to swing 10 times out of 10. He's not hitting well. And you have a lot of guys who can play a lot of positions in your system now. And I think that if unless Zach McKinstry changes the approach and starts hitting, there is a real chance that when Andy Ibanez comes back, Winfield Perez is not sent down. And instead it's maybe, again, it might just be Buddy Kennedy, but it also very much could be Zach McKinstry. It would not shock me. This is a positive segment. If Winfield Perez was here to stay, I think he's looked that solid at the plate. Alex Lang, really solid again. This 3 or 4 outings in a row. I want to say 3 outings in a row. He's looked really solid. He did give up a hit in this one, but that's totally fine by me, to be honest. Like his stuff moves so much. He is very difficult to square up, like hit the ball hard against him. That is a trade-off I will make 10 times out of 10, right? The trade-off of, pitching to contact more for him, not even pitching to contact. He has swing and miss stuff, but like throwing the ball in the zone and giving up hits sometimes versus the amount of walks that he used to throw or that we're used to him throwing. I don't want to say used to, like we're just like out of the woods yet, but you know what I mean? Like that is a trade-off I'll make 10 times out of 10 because I don't think people can square him up and hit the ball hard off of him, even semi-consistently. So really likes to see his outing. He's going to miss the zone semi-frequently, but if he can hit the zone when he needs to, we know the potential can be incredible. And then Jason Foley, absolute dog. How anyone can square anything up that he throws is mind-boggling to me. I'm not sure it's possible. Like, I'm not sure how it's possible, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I don't know how anyone, like in MLB The Show, like perfect. Like, how does anyone perfect a Jason Foley sinker? How is that possible? I don't know how it is. He's obviously has a 0 ERA and has been fantastic this year. Mark Canha as well will end there 2 for 4 with a home run, a huge homer, by the way. That insurance run is massive, completely changes the outlook of the end of this ball game. Insurance runs rock. They're really fun, and we should keep doing them. He's hitting 260 with a 932 OPS. Not bad. That'll play. Let's talk about what went wrong in this ball game. I want to start off with the defense at the beginning of the game. It was dreadful. That's 3 errors in the first 2 innings. Absolutely awful, right? We saw Colt Keith. Obviously, Javi hasn't been super common this year, thank goodness, but let a ball eat him up early on in the game as well. And then you end the game with stellar defense. Like, not, we were doing like, game to game. We were either getting really good or really bad defense. Now it's like we're splitting up a game. Now we're having good first half or bad first half, good second half. Like make it stop. Please make it stop. I'm so tired of looking at a box score that says 3 errors Detroit Tigers next to it. So please stop doing that. It's like they either get 0 and play a flawless game, or you see 1 and you go, okay, well, there's definitely 2 more, because that's 3 is the magic number. I guess, Schoolhouse Rock tried to teach me that. Let's keep the ball rolling. Got a few more things I want to complain about as always, and then we will get to everyone's favorite segment, stuff. Before previewing the finale against the Rays, we will do all of that right after this. Going to talk to y'all today about our new friends over at DoorDash. This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful for your mom on DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets, the latest tech, gift cards, self-care treats, and more. Just make her day so much better. You can pair flowers with a gift card so she can celebrate any way that she wants. Is she a bookworm? Try a bookstore gift card. Does she love a good latte? Get a gift card to her favorite coffee shop. You truly can't go wrong with DoorDash. So get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place and get 50% off of your next order, up to $15 when you spend 15 or more dollars on your next flower, convenience, grocery store, or retail order now with Locked On MLB. That's Locked On MLB, all one word. Order by using DoorDash today. Terms apply. All right, everybody, welcome back. Your third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all so much, as always, for tuning in. Winning baseball games is super fun. Let's talk about some things that didn't go right in this ball game. It's still some clutch hitting outside of the Riley Greene homer, obviously, but that wasn't even with a runner in scoring position. That was honestly, this is a huge callback, but if you're a longtime listener, one of the things back in 2022 that I complained about a lot was obviously RISP, and that's been a thing that I've been really driving home for my entire tenure on this show, it feels like. But, one of the things that we used to say back then was if they had power hitters, it would somewhat, not completely, okay, clutch hitting matters. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But it would somewhat take the burden off of that if they had anyone that could hit a homer. And in this game, this was my point, right? If you have power, if you have home run threats in your lineup, you can afford sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes to go 0 for 3 with RISP and leave 4 runners on base like the Tigers did in this ball game, right? That is the ultimate trump card, and that's why so many teams look for it these days, is ball go over fence, burr, right? And so again, it's over the course of a season, more than anybody, you all know, I am a huge component for clutch hitting, and I'm not trying to tell you. Don't let anyone tell you it doesn't matter. Okay, it does. Power does not just eliminate the need for clutch hitting. The Rangers were a really good example of a team last year that had both, and that's why they won the World Series. But this is a game where, we're not getting clutch hitting. We're not getting clutch hitting. Wow, it'd be great if someone could just hit the ball over the wall. And that's what happened. The most frustrating one was the Javi delayed steal, because that was such a heads up and fantastic play by him. And then we had one out in the inning and a man on second, and Colt Keith and Parker Meadows up, and it was just completely non-competitive. I guess that is something else that went wrong in this game, unfortunately, is the continued struggles of Parker Meadows and Colt Keith. Look, I don't know how many times we need to talk about this. Like, am I just going to say the same thing every single day? I guess. Parker Meadows, I think, is getting dangerously close to getting sent down. I think Keith's a little bit further behind him because Keith just has a track record of starting off slow and then getting hot. But they both need to start hitting. Cole Keith didn't have any strikeouts in this game. Parker Meadows looks kind of lost to me, and that's why I'm much more okay with him getting sent down at some point. Colt Keith, it's a lot of just like off the end of the bat. It's just the timing is just a little bit off. He even had a hard line drive in this game that just, Yandy Diaz made a fantastic play at first base. Like, I don't know. I know a lot of people want him sent down. I'm okay with continuing to just see this through and see, give him another few weeks just to see. It's a very long season. We're still in April. Let's talk stuff. Torkelson not in the lineup in this ball game. He'll be back today as you're listening to this, almost assuredly. Hopefully the reset can kind of help him. Just, the team still won. The burden's not all on your shoulders. It's okay. Hopefully the kind of the mental reset of the day off can help him a little bit here. 8th inning magic continues to be a thing. We need to come up with a cool name for it. Like, Like, we need like someone needs to make a meme, or like we need like a rallying cry for the eighth inning. We need like, oh, welcome to the eighth, like something, you know what I mean? Like we need something cool to say in the eighth inning. So somebody more creative than me, work on that. Javi, the delayed steal, want to give credit where credit is due. Wasn't like the greatest day at the office for him. But I still think the ABs were, whatever. I'm not even going to go down that road. But the delayed steal was great heads up ball. And I think, again, credit where credit is due there. Alex Faedo didn't have the best command in this game. He was kind of all over the place a little bit. But I've really liked what I've seen from him this season. Really liked what I saw from him in spring. That extra inning was huge, right? Like, we obviously gave up the home run, gave up the lead, but that extra inning, being able to go two there, is so monumental and something that will be overlooked by a lot of people. And then that second inning is very important. So I want to give him credit there, despite obviously blowing the game. Again, that's why he's in stuff and not necessarily players or things that went super right. I also hated the pitch call from Carson Kelly on the home run. Why are we throwing a fastball there? There in the count and there in the location. He missed his spot a little bit. I think he wanted up a little bit more, but I hated everything about that. I completely disagree with that pitch call. And like, that's really easy for me to say from my couch after the ball went 900 feet. I understand that. I'm not trying to be a jerk like that, but fast. That's not a, don't do that. Don't agree with the fastball on that count, just period. Especially to a hitter like Paredes. All right, dude. Like, good for you. Good for you, Paredes. Good for you. I don't even know what else to say. I'm just gonna keep repeating myself. I'm so tired of it. I feel like he does this all the time when we play him. Yeah, like the trade didn't work out for us. We, everyone in the fan base wishes they could have it back, whatever. Sure. I'm so, all right. GG's, like, good for you, man. Carson Kelly with a big hit. Want to give him credit there before the Riley Greene home run. And I think that's it for this ball game. I think, yeah. So only other thing I want to talk about is just some injury updates among the organization. Andy Ibanez, Toledo rehab starting very soon, maybe even today as you're listening to this, but sounds like very, very soon. Andy Ibanez is going to be back and playing for the Toledo Mud Hens. That's good. He'll rehab there for hopefully not too terribly long and then get called up. And again, that leads us to the conversation. Maybe we can have this conversation on Thursday or Friday's episode when we have an off day on Thursday. But this is who do you send down? Who do you send down? It's I think there's a real argument for Zach McKinstry right now, but he's out of options. So you'd have to put him on waivers. You risk losing him entirely. Is that worth that? It's a conversation to have. I think I would do it. I really like how Winfield Perez has been playing this year, and I don't think McKinstry is going to magically stop swinging at curveballs that bounce on home plate. So I would have no issue doing that. The position, I love Zach McKinstry. The positional versatility he gives you is great. We sung his praises a lot over the last year and a half. But again, just so many adjustments he needs to make at the plate. And you have other versatility in your organization that's hitting much better right now. So that's a conversation. Again, we can have a little bit more in depth later in the week. But Andy Ibanez close to returning. The lefty Barry Bonds. Well, how do I word that? He is Barry Bonds when a left-handed pitcher is on the mound. Much creative, very creative nickname there. Sawyer Gibson Long. Tommy John. We have not talked about that officially. That sucks, right? Was really excited to watch him in Toledo to start off the season and then assuredly get an opportunity at some point this year at the major league level, just like he did last year. It sucks. And the one, I guess, silver lining is just this seems to be a rite of passage for everybody these days, right? That's a much broader topic that I'm not trying to squeeze into, the last minute or two of the show here. But if there was ever a time in a career to point to and go like, when do you want to just get this over with? Because it's almost inevitable. I think I would pick when he's the ninth option on the starting pitching depth chart. And we have a lot of other players to fill in the role. And next year, he can come back, start off in Toledo, and work his way back up. He's still so young. It's never a good time. You'd obviously never want anyone to get hurt ever. I hate injuries more than anything. But if there was ever a time to point to and be like, this is probably best case scenario timing wise for him, it would probably be now. So that's like me trying to like cope, right? I fully admit that. But at the end of the day, it sucks. I feel really bad for him. Hopefully he's able to just keep his head on straight and get through it and work back. But he's got a great head on his shoulders, as we saw last year and throughout the winter. And yeah, rooting for his return for sure. So trying to inject some optimism into some really, really crappy news. But yeah, really at the end of the day, nothing's going to make it too fun. It just really sucks. So wishing him nothing but the best. And hopefully next year we can see Sawyer Gipson-Long back on the bump, because he was really, really fun to watch in September of last year. And that's pretty much it. The Tigers play the Rays today again at 6:50 p.m. Eastern time in Tampa, or St. Pete, wherever the heck they play, that ridiculous stadium. This is going to be Jack Flaherty. His last outing was the 10 strikeout performance. So hopefully, sign of things to come, and he can keep that ball rolling. Tyler Alexander will be the bulk pitcher in this game. It sounds like they're going to start with an opener of Sean Armstrong. I actually kind of like Sean Armstrong as a short inning reliever. He's had an okay year, but sounds like he's going to be the opener. And then they're going to go to Tyler Alexander for most of the outing. Let's go get a sweep. You got a series win. You have back-to-back series win against a division rival, and then the Rays, who are presumably a playoff team to most people. You got a chance to be 15-10 on April 24th and sweep the Rays on the road before an off day, which is then, before a home series against the Royals. And other, like, you have set yourself up really, really nice here. And hopefully we get a sweep. If they don't, it's obviously not the end of the world, but let's get greedy. You can't win 3 without winning 2. So let's get greedy. Let's go try to get a sweep here, and we can head into that off day and then head home on a huge high note as we play a Royals team who started off the season really well. They've been slipping a little bit lately, but it started off the season really well. Had a great off season. So yeah, and we'll talk about that, preview that obviously on Friday's show. All right. Hey man, 3's a streak. Baseball's fun when you win. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. And I'll catch you all tomorrow, baby. Go Tigers.